What can a person learn? Know right now in 10 minutes that will be useful for the rest of their life. 2 rules. Assume nothing. Follow up and check. My father taught me these, and I've found that virtually every major frick up in my life can be traced back to ignoring one of them. The NATO phonetic alphabet. Because spelling out words over a itty line can cause mistakes. Alpha Bravo Charlie Delta Echo Foxtrot Golf Hotel India Juliet Kilo Lima Mike November Oscar Papa Quebec Romeo Sierra Tango Uniform Victor Whiskey X-Ray Yankee Zulu. Why the Foxtrot would you put Foxtrot before Echo? Foxtrot me. All I know is M as in Mancy. My name starts with M. Sometimes when I spell my name to people they ask N as in Nancy. I'm always so tempted to say no, M as in Mancy. X% of Y equals Y% of X. If you need to find 3% of 50, you can instead find 50% of 3, which is 1.5. Me. Oh cool, I'll try this. What's 15% of 45? 45% of 15. Frick. It's easy, you get 10% of 45 which is 4.5, and 5% is half that 2.25, then take the sum. And this is how I do it in my head as well. I read the percent as modulo and got very confused. Top 10 signs you're developer. In Excel, select all by using Ctrl+A. I'm sure you all knew. But then when you press the following separately after Alt+H+O+I, voila, all your columns width are now auto-fitted. Change the I to A4 height. Or Alt+O, C, A, which makes more sense to me, because it goes back to Excel and Office. Before the stupid ribbon, when the menus had more sensible keyboard shortcuts. Alt+O was the format menu, Alt+F was file, which was more important. Apparently, C4, format, column A4, format column, autofit. Similarly, Alt+O, R, A gets you format row autofit. How to correctly stab someone with an EpiPen. My girlfriend has a peanut allergy and I really would love to live in a world where more people know the correct way to use that instrument. Step 1. Take off the cap. It's blue. This is a sided points away from their body. Step 1. 2. Make sure you won't hit their phone. Step 2. Stab the tit into their leg, upper outer thigh, through any non-super thick pants is fine. Jeans equals fine. Thumb holding the sides. You stab them with the orange side. Step 3. Hold it there for 3 seconds. It used to say 10 seconds. EMT guy in comments says FDA recently changed this to 3 seconds. Step 4. Call 911. EpiPens by time not fix the problem entirely. Do not be gentle. Bruises heal. Being gentle often causes a muscle twitch. Their reflex will be to jerk away, and if the needle comes out without giving them the dose, you can't just stab them. Hold their leg from the inside. Otherwise it could cause a large cut that almost always results in a scar associated with unpleasant memories. Also rub the injection site for a few seconds after you remove it from their skin. It will help get it into their bloodstream faster. Blue end goes to the sky. Stab the orange end into their thigh. You don't know how scared I am of someone stabbing my epinephrine into their palm instead of my leg. I will remember. Blue end goes to the sky for the rest of my life. Thank you. How to recognize a stroke. It could save a life one day. Just remember F. A. S. T. Face. Ask them to smile. Is one side of their face drooping? Arms. Ask them to lift both arms. Is one arm drifting downwards? Speech. Ask them to repeat a simple phrase. Is their speech slurred? Time. If you see any of these signs, then get help immediately. A stroke happens when blood is cut off from part of the brain, and symptoms can appear even 24 hours in advance. It is fatal if unattended, so be aware. Someone above asked what should they do while they wait for an ambulance to get there. My best advice is helping them get to the ground, sitting up, because you don't want if they lose consciousness to aspirate if they're having dysphagia. Time the onset. If it is an ischemic stroke, if they get to the hospital within 4 hours there is a specific med, TPA, they can give to dissolve clot. Keep them calm and note any worsening and how rapidly the symptoms change and worsen. Also note time of loss of consciousness if there is any. It's important to know. It can be scary, but you'll be helping tremendously and help treatment move quicker. When screwing the left pedal onto a bicycle, the thread is reversed. So left is tighter and right is looser. I worked at a bike shop over the summer. A few times people came in saying they couldn't get the left pedal off no matter how hard they twisted. They were making it tighter. In their defense, that doesn't seem at all obvious. In hindsight, if it was threaded the same way, it would unscrew itself off as you pedaled. Lefty tighty, right loosey. Corny as hell, but learning to say no. Some people find it almost impossible to say that tiny word. There are a bunch of YouTube videos on it. Seriously, saying no sometimes in your life will make it a lot easier. Sometimes it makes it a lot harder when you end up working for people who are not used to hearing no. Seriously, frick those people. Every one of them I have ever met was a dishonest pose. Communication and recognition of legit barriers and obstacles to completing a task that would lead to a no is the most important part of teamwork. You can't overcome a problem until you acknowledge the problem exists. My boss acts like I'm personally offending him whenever I tell him I can't stay late. A lot of times he'll just say, I need you to stay an hour or two late today, as if it's a statement and not a question, and then he gets very upset when I tell him I can't. It's getting to the point where I'm just going to tell him that I'm not going to stay past my scheduled time anymore, and if they really need the extra work from me, then they have to start scheduling me more hours. Here's the real answer to the OP. How to unclog a toilet using an expedient bucket flush. Situation. You have just taken a dump at someone else's place, and due to either the sheer volume of crap or using too much TP, you've clogged the toilet when attempting to flush. There is no plunger in sight. You don't want to risk a second flush overflow and make a bad situation worse. Mission. Unclog the toilet and leave the bathroom with honor. Execution. Look around for the small trash can. Take out the garbage liner, if present. If not already on, turn on exhaust fan. Fill the can with water from the bathtub faucet. Open faucet discreetly as to minimize noise. In one continuous and a smooth pour, direct the water toward the hole of the toilet. The steady downpour will break up and push the clog and begin the siphon effect. The toilet will flush, but will leave a measly quantity of water. Flush the toilet to get rid of any stragglers. Replace can liner in can. Ensure shower curtain goes back to original position. Wash hands. Turn off exhaust fan and walk out with confidence. Administration and logistics. The small garbage can is the most obvious choice, but may not be available. Be resourceful and look for any containers of opportunity. Females tend to keep containers under the vanity. Command and signal. After proper execution, ensure no trace of the technique is present. This means no drips of water, displaced containers or disturbed surroundings. A professional leaves no traces. Obfuscate questions about the running tub. If challenged, ask the inquisitor if she was listening to you. That will end the conversation. Go ahead and try it. You're welcome. If challenged, ask the inquisitor if she was listening to you. That will end the conversation. This part had me cracking up, man. Perfect. Survivorship bias. The key example is every time you hear about Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg dropping out of college and becoming billionaire, so it should make sense for people to drop out of college and found their tech startup. That's a horrible idea. To understand, back in World War II, they were trying to figure out where planes should be reinforced, so they marked on a diagram where all the bullet holes were on the planes that returned safely from missions. The initial thought was to reinforce the places where the holes were until somebody pointed out that those holes were in the planes that made it back safely. Planes with holes in the other areas that were not marked on the diagram did not return safely, so they should reinforce those areas instead. There's a similar analogy, but in World War I, they had just introduced steel helmets to stop low velocity shrapnel from killing so many men. But once the injury figures were looked at after they noticed an increased number of men with head wounds, they were going to get rid of the helmets until someone pointed out that the increase was because those who were now just injured would have been dead otherwise. How to properly breathe. Normally we take shallow breaths into our chest. However, if we actually take just 10 minutes out of every day to focus on our breath and breathe down into our abdomen, we will actually begin to relax and feel so much nicer. Suddenly things like meditation become easier. You become more aware of the here and now. Emotions are much more available to deal with and process, among many physical benefits. All just building on the simple act of breathing properly. Manual breathing mode activated. Motherfrica. Don't forget about the existence of your tongue, or that you're blinking, either. Gee, thanks.